What up, guys? Welcome, welcome, welcome. This is Breakfast with the Brand, the number one podcast in the world for entrepreneurs and leaders who want to take their brands to the next level. I'm your host, Junior Frederick, and I have with me Mr. Bobby Stealth. And today, we're going to get into some interesting conversation as usual. Guys, if you tuned in live, go ahead and put your flames in the comments and let us know what the energy is like. Bobby, what's up? How you doing?
What's up, Junior? What's up? What's up? What's up? I'm doing great, man. I'm doing great. I was listening to one of our favorite authors last night, Wallace D. Waddles. Wallace D. Waddles. Yeah, I was listening to our guy last night, and I was just thinking about how you end your night has a lot to do with how you start your day. Believe that, right? So if you're ending your night watching Netflix till you fall asleep, might wake up a little groggy, maybe. If you end your night eating ho-hos and cupcakes, might not wake up feeling the best, is what it is. But if you end your night some water, end your night with maybe a little bit of tea, end your night with some educational information after a nice good workout, you might wake up feeling refreshed, energized, excited. So I'm being more intentional about how I end my night.
Nice. Very nice, very nice. That is something I probably should do. So you give me a great idea. Great idea, Bobby. Guys, by the way, want to say happy 4th of July. So happy 4th of July to every single person that's watching. What plans do you have? What plans do you have for the 4th of July? Just go ahead, put it in the chat. Some people told me that they were doing barbecues, um, you know, all around America. So Bobby, if I'm not mistaken, 4th of July is your independence, right?
That's right.
That's
That's when we celebrate it, at least. That's when we celebrate.
Yes, sir. All right, so I'm celebrating with you guys, although of course I'm in a different country, so it's not a holiday for me, but I'm definitely right there with you. Um, I say this sometimes, Bobby, but I feel almost, patriot. I love America. I was telling somebody the other day that there's no Chinese dream, there's no Russian dream, there's no Mexican dream, but there's the American dream.
That's right.
There's the American dream. So shout out to everybody from the US. Happy independence. Enjoy it, enjoy it, enjoy it. Make sure you have fun. And number one thing, stay safe. And our job today is to bring you some phenomenal information that you could take back and use on your business and on your personal life. So today, guys, we're going to be talking about taking action. It's going to be very, very interesting, very, very interesting perspective. I know most of us feel like, okay, taking action, like that's just a simple thing. It's not as simple as you think. Okay, it's not as simple as you think. And when we come back from the break, we're going to be diving into that. So stay tuned. We'll be right back. Don't move an inch.
There's slow growth and then there's scale. There's incremental growth and then there's exponential growth. What I want to talk to you about is adding a zero to you and experiencing exponential scale. Incremental growth says 1 plus 1 is 2. Exponential growth says 1 plus 0 is 10. Incremental growth says 2 plus 2 is 4. Exponential growth says 5 plus 0 is 50. Guys, listen, when you add a zero to you, you can add a zero to the marketplace. You can add a zero to the value that you bring. So you can add a zero to your family, add a zero to your legacy. This is what we're talking about. We're not talking about incremental, we're talking about exponential. I always say that business is a spiritual game. Just imagine when you combine your skills, your values, your abilities, your talents to something bigger than you, something greater than you, something like the power of exponential. That is adding a zero. Add a zero to your competence, add a zero to your confidence. This is about adding a zero in your life, your value, your industry, and your mission. Let's grow. Confidence is key. Most of the people I work with, they have the education, the experience, and the expertise. We call those the 3 E's. But they're looking for the 3 I's, the income, the impact, and the independence. And I always tell them that the bridge between the 3 E's and the 3 I's is marrying your confidence to your competence. Most of the people I work with, again, have all of the competence in the world. What I help them do is get the confidence.
All right, guys. So welcome back. So Bobby, let's dive right into it, man. I'm gonna let you kick this one off. Let's get into it. Let's talk about it.
Yeah. So behind the scenes, me and Junior were talking like we always do. And I was like, we could talk about networking and sales, or we could talk about massive action. Like massive action. And I said it just like that. I was like, massive action. Right. And as I think about massive action, I want you guys to think about, are you doing as much as you think you can? There's this interesting thing called dissonance. Some may know it as cognitive dissonance. What this means is that your logic and emotion are going in two different directions, meaning you feel like you can do more, you know you can do more, but you don't. So now there's dissonance. There's dissonance because you're not showing up in the way that is most authentic. In psychology, they call that cognitive dissonance. Now, most people are self-sabotaging their businesses because of cognitive dissonance. And the cognitive dissonance is, in my experience, attached most to the amount of action they're taking. They will lay in bed, real story, like true talk. They'll lay in bed, the alarm clock will go off, and they will know if they had to go to work, they'd get up. But it's a weekend, and they don't have to go to work. They have to work on their business. They have to get up for themselves. They have to go write the book. They have to go study the training. They have to go build out, submit XYZ information for the program that they just paid for. The alarm goes off and they lay in bed. Now, the cognitive dissonance sets in either consciously or subconsciously. If they know they would have gotten up to go to their day job, they could get up to go to their day job, but they lay in their bed because it's comfortable. That doesn't go away. That's what we call disobeying the soul. We set the alarm for a reason, because the soul tells us what's right. It convicts us, it guides us. So we set the alarm before we went to sleep because we know in our soul, in our heart of hearts, that we need to build the business, that we need to execute. But we disobey the soul when we sleep in, and the soul does not forgive that, as in the way that we think it does. We like to think that the soul does not take account. It doesn't keep track. It doesn't, what goes out won't come back. We like to think that we can just lay around and be okay. But the reality is this: if you were taking massive action, you would likely not be self-sabotaging. Instead, you would be self-actualizing. So today we're going to talk about what massive action really looks like. What it really looks like to set a goal, outline all the things that are required for that goal, and to obey the soul, because that's the only thing that makes you feel worthy. There's a law of attraction. Well, it's more of a law of, yeah, we could say it's a law of attraction. One of the laws says this. It says you can only get what you feel you deserve. That's what it says. It's like, if you don't feel like you've earned it, it's very hard for you to get it. Another thing that we say in sales or in business is you can't charge a price you haven't paid, because you can't get what you don't feel like you deserve. You'll give it away. Like, we're naturally designed to give what we get and get what we give. So with that being said, Junior, let's dive into massive action and the consequences of not taking massive action, but also the benefits of doing what you said you're going to do and getting it done. So from your experience, Junior, how has taken massive action benefited your life, and how has slacking off when you know you should do things negatively affected your life?
Well, I think the answer is in the question. The answer is definitely in the question. So nowadays, when I think of slacking off, I think of it as stealing from your future. Literally, you're stealing from your future. If you're slacking off today, if you're not working out, if you're not doing what you're supposed to do, you're literally stealing from your future, because if you don't take action, what you could have had tomorrow, you just don't have it. You literally just don't have it. Like, if you really think about it, Bobby, and somebody said this, another influencer said this, the successes that you could have had yesterday, you can never ever have them again. Even if, let's just say you figured out a way to make $1 million a day. Let's just say, if you figure it out in 5 years, it means that up until that point, the 5 years that you wasted, or not wasted, but the 5 years that you didn't make it, you can never get that back again. Life is finite. So let's just say you live to be 80. You figure this stuff out at, let's say, 45, minus 5 years. That's literally 5 years of less money you could have made, less impact, less people you could have touched. You will never get that back. So I guess the overall effect of not taking massive action is literally not being as successful as you could have been. Literally. That's literally what it is. Now, when it comes to actually taking that action, I mean, it's everything. There's nobody that you know or I know who became successful without taking massive action. And something I realized, getting around successful people, a lot of the times when you think you're doing something, when you get around somebody who's really taking massive action, you realize that you're not doing enough. I thought I was doing a lot. And then I was listening to a book where the author of the book says that he works well into midnight every single day. He's a billionaire, by the way. And everybody would know who he is if I said who he was. And I realized, what? I said, I'm not doing enough. I'm not doing enough. If this guy is working literally around the clock, from the moment he wakes up to like midnight, answering calls, answering emails, getting back to people, there's literally, like, what level of commitment do you need to have to be at that level? It's 100% commitment. So active action is the difference between the losers, the winners, the super successful winners, and the ultra mega wealthy successful winners.
Hmm. I agree, Junior. And here's the thing. I had a client ask me yesterday. Actually, he told me a statement and then I guided him to ask me a question. He said, I'm doing too much. I'm not doing enough. I don't know what I'm supposed to do. So that was his statement and his question. He's like, I'm doing a lot, doing too much. I'm not doing enough, and I don't know what to do. I said, it's not the right question to ask. I asked him, at your stage in business, are we making $1 million a year yet? It was like, no. It's like, are we doing are we doing 10K a month consistently yet? He was like, no. I said, okay, great. The only thing you should be thinking about right now is sales. But most people do what I call EBS. I heard this in a book called Oversubscribed. They don't call it EBS, but I call it EBS. They call it something else. I think they call it like ABS or something. But EBS stands for everything but sales. You might want to write that down. If you're not making $1 million a year, that means the offer still needs work. That means the market still needs work. That means the pipeline still needs work. That means that you still need work on selling. So the only thing that we should be thinking about is sales. But most people are stuck in EBS, everything but sales. Now think about this. when it comes to massive action, if your goal is to leave your day job, retire a spouse, give your kids the best life possible, be able to go where you want, when you want, with whom you want, with the amount of money you want, the only way you're going to be able to do that is with sales. Write this down. Sales is the only activity in business that brings money in. Everything else is an expense. Sales is the only thing that brings money into an organization. Everything else is an expense. And this is why a lot of people find themselves burnt out, saying courses don't work, unhappy with the results of an investment that they made, is because they're stuck in EBS. They taken all the photos they can take. They had all the networking events they can get to. They're talking to all the people that they can talk to. They're posting too. They're going live. Boy, they're going live. They're doing everything but collecting credit card information. Like, why? Like, think about this, guys. Like, if you're not on the phone asking for credit card numbers, then you're not making money. If you're not in front of somebody with a Stripe, a Clover, some cash collected, like nothing else matters. Nothing else matters. So when it comes to massive action, most people are taking massive action in uncontrolled environments. They don't have coaching communities. They don't have direction or insight, and they're taking massive action on the wrong things. When I did 400% revenue growth year after year after year, do you know I did that without a book? I did that with shaky marketing. I did that with no campaigns. Like, I did it hard, but guess what I did really well? Collect money. That's what I knew how to do. And I didn't know how to do it. I learned how to do it. I spent time doing that. So when we talk about getting to 6 figures a month, when we talk about getting to 6 figures a year, like, forget 6 figures a month. Like, once you are doing about 6 to 10K in your business, I would recommend you getting ready to take that loan and leave your day job. But most people aren't making 2K a month consistently. They're not making 5K consistently. I'm not talking about I made a sale. I'm talking about monthly recurring revenue. And the reason this is it's not happening, it's not showing up in the business, is because they scared to sell, or they refuse to sell, or they are reluctant to collect credit card information, or they are unable for whatever reason to ask for the business. If you don't ask for the sale, you're not going to get it. If you do not collect the credit card information, you're not going to be able to run the strike. If you're not, I love Priestley. I forget his first name, but he said the only metrics you need to be looking at in the early days of your business is called LAPS. Leads, appointments set and appointments kept, that's A. Presentations and sales. LAPS. Leads, appointments, presentations, and sales. If you don't have leads, fix that problem and go in that order. It's literally in order. You need leads first. You get leads from talking to people. I'm not against posting. You guys that's gone through our program know business media. That's our thing. That's what we do. But talk to people. like connect. Like, talk to people. Get leads. Once you get leads, set appointments. Appointments. Now, set appointments that lead to business conversations. We cannot spend all of our time talking, chit-chatting, sharing ideas, rubbing each other's backs, talking about how great we are. No. You get on the call, it's a little bit of small talk, and you get down to business. Because at the end of the day, if they came with a problem, they want it solved. They don't want to know how your daughter's doing. They don't want to know how your cousin is doing. They don't care about when you graduate. If they got on a call, they have a problem.
Yep.
All they want you to do is solve it. So get to that. All right, get to that. So that's A. Then P is presentations. How many of you have one? It's gonna hurt, but it hurts so good. If you don't have a presentation, it's probably why you're not closing deals. It's probably why you're not closing deals. Because people cannot see, seeing is believing. People cannot see themselves using your program to be successful. They can't see it. And you're probably not in a community right now. If you are, then we've probably shared this with you. If not, then you're hearing it now. But people need sales professions. Okay, I'll put it to you like this. Sales is a profession, and sales professionals make presentations. Write that down. Sales is a profession, and sales professionals make presentations. Period. You could be selling roofs. You could be selling cookies. You could be selling. McDonald's makes a presentation of what the burger looks like in the nice little box with the cheese hanging off, with the pizza hanging off. That's presentation. You have to see it in order to desire it, or in order to believe it's going to work for you. And most people aren't closing deals because they're not making presentations. And presentations is a science to that too. So if you're inside the community and you're not closing deals, maybe ask that question next time we have a call. How do I create a presentation that closes deals? That's $1 million question, for real. 6-figure question, for real. Because you get the answer to that question, then boom, 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 you close deals. And then lastly, before we go to the break, I think it's like 8:30, is sales. Once you make the presentation, you got to collect the cash. Now, I'm going to tell you guys something here, and you might not like this, okay? But most people are struggling to close deals because they can't tell the truth. Ouch. Now, why can't they tell the truth? 2 reasons. 1, it hurts. And 2, they haven't accepted it for themselves. Like, they haven't gotten to a point where they can hear the truth for themselves. Because when someone tells you the truth about you and where you are, it cuts. Because we like to think of ourselves in a good light, and that's good. You know, we have pride and ego and self-esteem for a reason. But truth is what unveils us. It's what humbles us. It's what shows us what's left, what's next. And that hurts. And if people aren't being told the truth about themselves, like if people aren't being told you're fat, they're not going to be able to tell somebody else they're fat. If people aren't being told you're broke and your breath stinks and your self-esteem is trash, and if you don't fix those things, you'll never close a deal. Nobody's telling you that, and you're not in a position to hear it, accept it, and take changes and make changes. You're never going to be able to get on the call with your ideal client and tell them the truth. Because many ideal clients get on calls with you and they're ideal because they're in a state of massive pain. And when you're in pain, you're hiding yourself, you're lying to yourself, you're oftentimes delusional about things because you're just trying to cope. And great sales professionals break your coping mechanism and give you a solution. People cope with drugs, but doctors give them a plan to get rehabilitated. But before they can give the drug addict the plan to get rehabilitated, they have to tell them you're high all the time. You're not in your right state of mind. And if you keep doing this, you'll kill yourself. I've got a solution for you, but it won't work if you keep doing this. Do you want to try this? It's worked for all of these patients. See, guys, when you can do that, and I know we're about to go to the break, but I'll end you guys with this. I had to tell a guy yesterday, and he bought. He spent money with us. This guy was in welding. He has 2 girls, 2 daughters. and me about how he couldn't spend because he had some money in his savings and he was trying to save up his money. I was like, do you have a dangerous job? He was like, I mean, moderately so. It's not, I mean, it's somewhat dangerous. I could get electrocuted. I said, what? You could get electrocuted? He said, yeah, I hang off the side of these buildings and, you know, at any given moment I could fall off this thing. But I mean, we got harnesses. I had to ask this man, how much is your life worth to you? Because I was like, how much do they pay you? He was like, they pay me this much. And then I said, how much is your life worth to you? He said, nobody has ever asked me that question. And I said, that's not even the worst. You got 2 daughters that you're the sole provider for. How much is your life worth to them? He was like, wow, never asked anybody. Nobody ever asked me that question either. I said, okay, great. Well, let me tell you something. No one values your life more than you do. And if you're going to keep giving your life away for pennies on the dollar with the ability to be electrocuted at any given day, you're telling us and them how much you think your life is worth. Now, if you think you're worth more than that, I can show you how to achieve your worth. That was a hard conversation, but it was the God honest truth. And he balked. That's it, Jimmy.
Guys, I hope you took notes. You might have to replay this a couple times. We're going to go to a quick break, but when we come back, more on this topic. Stay tuned.
I said Shaan Ride East. I'm proud. That's Shaan Ride East. Leadership is not the brand they made for us.
Listen, he brought fire, heat. He didn't hold back.
20 years down the line, what I could sell, why not serve first? Service over salary. Branding like a leader closes the gap for people who want branding. Speaking like a leader closes the gap for people who are nervous about speaking. If Steve Jobs would have speculated, we wouldn't have Apple.
He changed lives. He helped people open up their business and start their business.
We are the brand. Some people say, Shaan, should I quit my job? Mentally, yes.
As a speaker too, to be able to learn from him and watch him and you know, game respects game. And I want to have that much game someday.
The right client, pay $500,000 for what you do. You have to be bold in your beliefs.
He has been an amazing asset to this event and a pleasure to work with. Very captivating, collaborative, worked very well with the audience.
I want to help you. Put a 0 behind your number, right?
The session was great. How he is online, virtually, he is even more phenomenal in person.
Be the face of change that you want to see. Stop asking questions and start giving demands.
The entire team has just been absolutely incredible. They are a joy to work with. They go above and beyond.
Give yourself a round of applause. Yes, yes, yes. So when you're young, mommy tells you to play nice. Play nice, Timmy. Let all of the other kids play too. But in business, it's not about playing nice. In business, it's about winning. It's about adding multiple zeros to your revenue. Now, of course, your staff wins. And when you win, other people win. However, when it comes to competition, you absolutely must dominate. You can't play for participation, and you can't play just to get along or just to get by, because business is serious. Business will help you to change the world, or the world will change you. Your people will either win or your people will lose based on your level of leadership, what you're willing to do, what you're willing to sacrifice, and how much you know about dominating.
All right, guys, welcome back. We're talking about taking massive action. And Bobby just went over the LAPS framework. All right, so Bobby, I mean, the whole thing about the truth, I love what you said when you spoke about the truth, because my philosophy is truth. And I think I've said this many, many times on Breakfast with the Brand. Like, I believe when it comes to life in general, remember also when it comes to business, I believe that people have to live by truth. So that also includes sales, living by truth. That also includes relationships, living by truth. A mentor of mine put it this way. He said, Junior, you cannot cheat the game. You cannot cheat the game. That's the way he said it. And you're right. Telling the prospect the truth is definitely one way to close them. It's one way to overcome any objection. I've said this so many times. When it comes to handling objections, you just handle objections by telling the truth. If what you're saying is true, if your product is the real deal, if the potential the prospect is making a potential mistake by not buying or by buying something else, you just have to tell them the truth. You just have to tell them the truth. And once you could tell the truth and have hard conversations, ask the hard questions, then it's normally easy from there.
Mhm.
It's normally easy from there. So that is a philosophy I like. This is like a, I don't know if there's like a name for it, like truism or something like that. The same way there is like stoicism. If
Mhm.
there is something called truism, then that's what I believe.
I agree,
I
Jimmy.
agree, Jimmy. It's like physics. It's almost like, how many of you did physics in school? Let's put it in the chat. If you did any kind of science, like you cannot, reality is reality. I believe that the closer you get to the truth, the more successful you become. If you're looking to build a business, the only reason you're not successful at it is because you don't know the truth. In other words, you don't know the truth about sales. You don't know the truth about reaching out, meaning that you don't know the actual numbers. You don't know what is valid or what is true for that space. You don't know the truth about speaking. You don't know the truth about marketing. So maybe you believe lead generation is this when lead generation is actually that. Maybe you believe that your target market is this when your target market is actually that. Maybe you believe that you have a good product when the truth is you don't. Okay, so I believe that truth is just like a law of physics. It's like the law of gravity. Now, you could try to create false versions of reality and then talk yourself into believing it, almost like Madagascar. So here's the way I learned it, Bobby. Same mentor. He said to me, Junior, have you ever seen Madagascar? Put it in the chat if you've ever seen Madagascar. Just put a number one. Madagascar is like a kids movie, with the lions. So the lions are playing with the gazelle, and they're frolicking together, and they're on an island, and they're singing and they're dancing, and everything is good and everything's nice, right? Madagascar, right? So he said to me, that's what society is like. Society, there's base reality, which is the truth, which is in the jungle. The lions and the gazelle, they don't flock together. They don't sing together. They don't get along, Bobby. I don't know if you know, but you're not going to come across a lion just chilling with a gazelle. You're not going to come across that in base reality. So, in base reality, when it comes to business, there are certain things that have to be true. Now, in the false reality, which is the Madagascar, which is sort of the world that we have, you have so many things going on, especially today. People, they're making up new stuff every single day. You go on the news, there's a new term for something else. Then they're calling this that. They're calling this that. And he said to me, that's like Madagascar. It's like a false reality placed on top of base reality. It's like virtual reality. It's not real. And a lot of people are working their business like virtual reality. In other words, they're saying, I have this phenomenal product when the data says that you don't. They're saying, I'm doing everything I can to make the sales, but the data says that you're not. Or they say, I'm working hard. Okay, I'm working hard. Okay, but the result says that you're not. So you're living in this virtual reality, which is a false reality on top of base reality. I believe in base reality. I believe in
Yeah.
truism. And if that's not a term, I'm calling it truism. If it's not a,
Here first, Junior Frederick, truly.
I literally do not believe that you can cheat. Like you can cheat for a while, but the market always corrects itself. Bobby, you're an economist. When you look at the economy, when you look at the data, what is an economy really? An economy is the sum of a nation's energy. But the economy is a monetary representation of the mind of a country. It tells you what people are thinking. It tells you what's happening because it tells you people's behavior. It tells you their choice. It tells you where they spend their money and where they spend their energy, right? That's an economy.
Mm-hmm.
So it's no different from what I'm saying.
That's right.
The market is always correct. The market is the market is the market. You could try to force some kind of base reality on top of the market, but the market will maybe it will allow you for a little while, but it will eventually correct itself. When it does, all of the fake people and all of the fake gurus and stuff like that, they fall. Like they're gone. But the people that are genuine, real, and the people that actually know what they're doing, they survive because they're rooted in reality.
Yeah, that's 100% correct. I wrote some things. I'm also going to answer your question, Michelle. But one of the things that I wrote down as Junior was speaking was everybody's lying to you. So when you hear the truth, you don't believe it. Now, what that means is that most people that have to see you every day don't want to see you angry. They don't want to see you upset. They don't want to see you sad. They don't want to see you irritated. So most people are passive, and many people are become passive aggressive because they are too passive, in my experience. And people simply themselves. And my comparison to this may be a bit stark because I was in the military. So in the military, we were very aggressive, very assertive, very honest, because if you don't tell the truth about someone, somebody else gets killed. So in the regular world, in the civilian world, I've noticed that very few people are honest with you every day. Spouses lie. They're the most honest, I think. If you're in a good marriage, your spouse is probably going to be the most honest with you. But it's like neighbors, hey, your grass is so green. But in the back of their mind, I really wish they'd get that kid's truck out of the way. The guy next to you, hey, breath stinks. In the back of his mind, they don't say it. Their face scrunches up, but they won't say what's on their mind. You'll go into the store and be in school. Raise your hand. You'll ask a dumb question. Now, some will say there are no dumb questions. My philosophy is a dumb question is a question you know the answer to and ask anyway. And the reason it's a dumb question is because you already knew the answer, But you can't ask a question you don't know the answer to. So that's kind of like a fallacy in and of itself. But ultimately, if someone asks a bad question and you don't correct them, that means you don't care about the quality of their answer. I said a lot there, so I'm going to go back and say that again. If you say, I corrected a client on this yesterday. The client asked me the wrong question. He asked me, quote unquote, a dumb question. And I had to give him the right question to ask me because I cared about the answer he received. Most people don't care about the quality of your answer, so they will answer your stupid question because they don't care to be honest. But if someone is honest with you, they're going to say that was the wrong question. That thinking is inaccurate. It was actually a dumb question. The better question for you to ask is this one so that you can get the better answer. Would you like me to give you the best answer to the right question? People aren't saying that because they don't care. So that's why a lot of people, I think, just can't handle the truth because they're being lied to every day. So when someone tells them the truth, they feel like their feelings just got hurt. If you walk around and everybody's telling you you're great, everybody says you look nice, everybody says your breath is great, everybody says you're doing a good job, and somebody tells you the truth, But like 99% of people are telling you one thing, and this person tells you something else. Who's the outlier? And who becomes the liar? So that's just interesting in and of itself. So be careful of who you listen to and ask them to be honest with you. But I see there was another question put down here. It's that you said so.
This one?
Now there, I'm gonna address this one too, but she said another one, and I'll address that one as well. But I'll address this one first. So everybody is lying to us. So when we encounter the truth, we don't believe it. Is that what you said, Bobby? That's right, 100%. She says another thing. Some people ask questions they already know the answer to because they are looking for confirmation. Exactly. And this confirmation that they're looking for is oftentimes to confirm their delusion. And that's why they ask the dumb question. It's crazy. It's like someone will say, because they're looking for an answer that they want. And if you give them the answer that they want, but it's not the right answer, it's not the answer that's going to change their situation, then it was a dumb question because the answer that they're going to receive is not going to give them the result that they're looking for. So please pay attention to what I just said. It's a dumb question, not because they're dumb, but because you can only answer a question. The quality of your answer is only as good as the quality of the question. So if someone gives you a dumb question, you've got to give them a dumb answer. It's the only way. So if you give them a dumb answer to their dumb question, then they're no better off. So if you are a coach, a consultant, a mentor, and someone asks you a dumb question, you've got to correct them and tell them that the question that they're asking is wrong because of ABC, and then give them an opportunity to ask you the right question. If you don't do that to them, or rather for them, they'll never get the right answer. And they'll keep going looking for people to validate their delusions, or looking for people to affirm the answer that they've already set in their mind to be right, and are just looking for someone of authority to give them permission to go forward with their delusion. That's what they're really looking for. So to answer your question above, Michelle, you asked me what makes a good presentation. So a good presentation has 4 components. I wrote them down for you. You asked $1 million question, I'm gonna give you $1 million answer. All right. So product selection. So the good presentation has product selection. If you don't have a selection of products for your prospect to choose from, then you will not appear professional. You will appear to be fishing, pulling something out of a hat, hoping to make the sale. You'll look thirsty. But if you tell them, I got A, B, and C, what you looking for? That's all I got. That's all you're going to get from me. You look luxurious. You look like Rolex. Like, I'm selling this, this, and this. You want that? It's out of season. You got to come back in 6 months. Can't buy it right now. Get on the waiting list. Most people don't do that. They get on the call, no presentation, no sales script, no nothing. And they're just like trying to get a close. You need product selection and an offer. All right. So that's number 1. Number 2 is luxury images. When you're showing people your presentation, it needs to look like the price you're requesting. If you're requesting $10,000 and your thing is like, doesn't look like $5, it's going to be very hard to convince them that you're worth that amount of money. So get it professionally done. That could cost you like $50 if you don't want to do it yourself. Like, you can do it yourself. I did mine myself. And I just made it look as good as I possibly could. And when you get it looking luxurious, step number 2. Number 3, ascending prices. People want to know that they can grow with you, and they also want to know where you've gone. So if you don't show them a series of ascending prices, they're going to believe they're your first client. And if they believe they're your first client, they're going to believe you're experimenting on them. And you might be, but they don't need to feel that way. Okay. Now, what they need instead is they need to see these prices going up, 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 and up, and they need to see testimonials at each point, ideally. That's why we say give free, so you can get the testimonial. And once you get the testimonial, put a price on it. All right. So once they see you've worked with this person at 20K, this person at 10K, this person at 5K, this person at 1K, and this person at $500, you walk them up. So now they can see a future with you. Once they see a future with you, then you walk them right back down and you say, now where are you? Right here. All right. You want to go here? Okay, this is where you start. And now they can see a future with you and they feel confident in your ability to get them there. Once you've got the ascending prices and you've got the testimonials, you share with them what you've done for people, you move down to the sales script. You need to be able to greet them, fact find, qualify, handle objections, trial close, collect the money. 1, 2, 3. You have those 4 things, you'll close deals. You don't have those things, you won't close deals. And well, I won't say you won't close deals. It'll be very, very hard. And it's very unlikely that you will close consistently. But if you have product selection and a luxurious presentation with ascending prices and proven results and a sales script that handles the fact finding, the qualifying, the objection handling, the trial close, and the cash collection process, there's nothing stopping you from selling over and over and over again with the ideal client of your choosing. Same offer, same images, same pricing, same script.
Yes, sir. Now, I also have a little bit of insight into presentations that convert as well. So to add on to what Bobby just said, one thing that I've noticed, and I think we've taught this on the inside as well. Presentations that sell, they have certain elements. If you're looking at a closing from the stage, so let's say a speech or some kind of long form presentation like a webinar, because a webinar is a presentation as well. They have slightly not different elements, but they have more extended elements. So it's like you have to, number one, you have to build credibility, because if I don't know you, why should I buy from you? What credibility do you have in the market? So that's number one. Then you have to shatter limiting beliefs. So shattering limiting beliefs, exposing or identifying pain and shattering limiting beliefs. So exposing the real problem. So I'll give you an example. If I was doing a presentation for, I don't know, attracting clients online, I'll say something like, hey, my name is Junior Frederick, and over the last 4 years, I've closed multiple 7 figures. I help clients do this, I help clients do that. I've worked with clients from all around the world. Da, 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 da. I'm talking about myself. I'm doing what's called, basically it's called a brag bank. It's a brag bank is you pulling out information that you could use to basically brag about yourself, but the bragging is only to build credibility about who you are. Then from there, you make a promise and you fulfill a promise. So you tell them what the presentation is about, and then you tell them what you're going to tell them, and then you tell them. So you're going to say, on this presentation today, you're going to learn the 7 key steps that I've used over the last 4 years to attract and convert clients like, and then you start to tell them. Most people believe that, attracting clients online works like this. And then you start to list it out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. The truth is, it actually works like this. You start to list it out. 1, 2, 3, 4. The real problem is this. You've never been taught how to leverage your story to build, and you present a new mechanism called, I don't know, to create base conversion content. So you create a new mechanism where you introduce something new to spark curiosity and move the sale forward. And then from there, Bobby, you start to expose the truth. So I'll say something like this. The 7 lies about attracting leads online and the truth that'll set you free. Lie number one. And I go through all of these 7 lies and I break limiting beliefs and I show them the truth. And somewhere towards the end of that presentation, I give success stories, etc., etc., and then I make the offer. That's for like a webinar style presentation. Now, if you're selling something that has always worked for me, like just in a closing call, 4 things. Number one, story. Number two, strategy. Number three, tactics. And number four, success stories. So stories, so your story. So I tell them my story. Hey, I'm just a young man from the islands on a mission to create a generation of entrepreneurs who found freedom, da 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 da. Stumble across copy, discover the power of it, and so forth. I've been able to help XYZ entrepreneurs do this, that, and that. Agree to talk with you today. So based on what you're telling me, this is the strategy that we're going to use to get you to where you want to go. So you give them a high level overview of the strategy, then you break down the tactics. So the little mini parts of what they need to do. So if I'm closing branded like a leader, I'll say the problem here is you don't have an industry leading brand. You need to establish yourself as an authority in your space. And here's how we're going to do this. Number one, you need to build what we call brand assets. That's number one. Number two, we need to give you a brand voice. And number three, we need a brand marketing strategy. If you have the right assets, meaning CRM, website, etc., etc., if you have the right brand voice, okay, and if you have the right brand marketing strategy, then you could literally attract any client that you want, like magnets. Then we go into the tactics. So the tactics would be a little bit of, branding like a leader, put the world on notice, etc., etc. The actual, and then you go to success stories. Here are people just like you who went for exactly what I'm telling you to do, and they came out on the other side successful. And once you have those 4 things mixed in with what Bobby said, like having the different, for example, we have what's called a free box close. A free box close is when you present free options to the prospect, but you strategically position the second option as the most valuable option. So you might have one box that says, okay, 5K, another one that says 25, another one that says 50K. 50K is a little too much. 5K is a little bit too little. Let me go for the 25. I think I'm comfortable with 25. So it's called a free box close. But if you take what the two of us have said and you sort of combine that together, like there's no way you cannot convert. It's impossible not to convert
That's right.
because it's human psychology. I teach what's called I think we're at the top of the hour. Wow, we're way past that. I didn't realize that.
It's all
But
good.
I teach what's called the persuasion cycle. What I gave you is going to take people through what's called a persuasion cycle and literally destroy any objections. My last 2 presentations, Bobby had 0 objections, no objection whatsoever. It was just what is it going to cost?
Yeah.
No objections because you show them the story. So, and you could write this down. This is my last thing. If people don't believe your story, they won't believe your strategy. If people don't believe the strategy, they won't buy your tactics. And if people don't buy the tactics, they're not going to believe the success stories. So it starts with you, it starts with your story, your strategy, your tactics, and then the success stories to prove and to show them that people just like them have gone through the same transformation. Once you have those things, you could be a master closer, which is a master communicator. Master communicator, you make it easy to say yes, difficult to say no, and you make it the prospect's idea every single time. Guys, thank you so much. We're going to wrap it up. Happy 4th of July. We'll be back tomorrow, same place, same time. Of course, if you want to learn more, message me directly, message Bobby directly, or go to www.shawnrais.com, register for a call somewhere on the page, and somebody will reach out to you. Have a phenomenal day, and let's grow. Bye.